Welcome to the Straight Red Card, and Brett and I are back today. I'm back with a lot less energy. As I was mentioning to Brett earlier, I did not go to the Golden Corral and dip things in chocolate all day, so I don't have all that sugar running through my veins. So I should have a much calmer show than I did the last one, where I think I just ranted for half an hour straight, 45 minutes. Anyhow. There's a lot less to rant about today because there are probably fewer things that piss me off. But let's start with Copa America because it looks like, sometime around 2018, CONCACAF and CONMEBOL are thinking about coming together and putting together a tournament, which would, according to this report at least, Brett, include 10 South American teams and 8 CONCACAF teams, which that number didn't make any sense to me. I know it didn't make any sense to you. 18 teams? How are they going to work that out? 18 teams.
How do you break that down into the different groups?
Divided,
do you do 6 groups of 3 or 3 groups of 6?
Oh, let's not go back to groups of 3. Oh, my God. That is... Hopefully they don't do that.
Now, the popular article is talking about the 18 teams. However, there are some other articles out there that are saying that it's actually being talked about as a 16-team group, which makes more sense.
It sure does. You
get the 4 groups of 4.
That's exactly right. Then the question would be, do they stick with 10 South American teams and drop the CONCACAF teams down to 6, which essentially would mean, Brett, that every single team in South America, well, all the teams in CONMEBOL would automatically make the cup. That doesn't seem very challenging.
No, I would think in this situation, I would think that it'd be nice if you could just subtract 1 from each level.
You could just go 8 and 8, right? Yeah. Or 9 and 7.
Yeah. You look at certain teams from the bottom of the hex from last cycle. You look at teams like Canada,
yep,
or even Jamaica for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of them can compete on an international level with some of the bottom ranks of CONMEBOL.
Sure.
They may not win.
No.
More often than not, but I think they could compete. So yeah, I think it'd be fair if you went 8 and 8, or like I said, 7 and 9.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So I guess the big question would be is how you pick the 7 or 6 or 8 teams from CONCACAF.
I'd have to agree with you because, I'm looking, let's just list off the teams that are, have been pretty darn competitive. United States, Mexico, Honduras, Costa Rica, and even Trinidad and Tobago. Those are teams you can list off right away. Now, El Salvador is sort of an emerging team, right? So they'd be competitive, and that's still, that's 6 teams, and that leaves out of, say, Guatemala, Jamaica, and Canada, one more spot.
Or even Panama.
Between those 3. Oh, yeah, that's true. Panama has been, they've been improving as well. So, but then, if you're going to have to, you could probably take out 2 teams from the South American. Bolivia stinks up the place constantly. Peru's been pretty bad this year as well. And they used to be, a power in South America, Peru, which that's kind of sad to see them kind of dip to these lows. And so, the bottom of the CONMEBOL table isn't that impressive either. Of course, the top is extremely impressive. And those are the folks we all want to see anyhow. The Brazils, the Argentinas, the Uruguays. Those are the guys we want to see in this tournament. And so I think it would be competitive, but I guess my question to you is, it's fine and all, and I don't mind us doing this. A lot of people are really excited about it, but if we don't get to watch A teams, if all we're watching is a bunch of second-rate B teams play each other, I don't know. I just find it hard to get that excited about it.
Well, yeah, no, that's a big issue. I think if you look at it, most likely it'll be taking the place of the second Gold Cup year. That summer. It makes sense. It's right before the World Cup. You don't want to take the actual the true Gold Cup, which is the one right after the World Cup, and the actual Copa, and replace it. So you want to take that third year out. The problem is that conflicts with qualifying.
Yeah.
That conflicts with Confederations Cup. Mm-hmm. That conflicts with various. It's preseasons right before all the European, a lot of other leagues start up again.
Right.
This is the reason why when you look at the second Gold Cup each cycle, it's predominantly a with the U.S. team, it's predominantly a MLS with some European teams or players, but it's pretty much not an A squad.
Right.
So my question, and this is what you're hinting at or saying just a second ago, if the U.S. can't even bring it, if the U.S. can't bring an A squad to the second Gold Cup, or if they won't be able to bring an A squad to here, what about the other teams? What about the Brazils? Although then again, Brazil and Argentina could bring a B or a C squad, and they could still be very competitive.
And they probably will.
And they probably will.
Yeah.
Like you're saying.
And that's kind
of Brazil has been sending a B squad to the Copa for a number of years.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Well, here's one more thing about this article that does concern me a little, and it depends on how far this goes. It says that a series of events that may include, I quote, Brazil being a regular fixture in future Gold Cups. That's nice. I'm sure that'll, help out the revenues, and that's great. But
it's the same thing if Mexico and U.S. went to Copa and they were invited to Copa and they won it, they wouldn't earn CONMEBOL's CONCACAF or Confederation spot. It'd go to the next team.
Yeah.
So if it was Mexico versus Brazil in the final, Brazil would automatically win their Confederations Cup spot, but even if they lose to Mexico.
It if you got Brazil winning it every year, and the second place teams, say Mexico or the United States, making the trip to the Confederations Cup, it kind of takes the zing out of being the CONCACAF champion, doesn't it?
Well, it certainly takes a bit of the zing out of getting to the finals. I mean, honestly, if you get to the semifinals and you have to go up against Brazil, you're pretty much saying up. Our chances of making the Confederations Cups just got that much slimmer.
Yeah.
Whereas the years past, you're typically facing the Costa Ricas, the Honduras, the Canadians.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I'm not a huge fan of bringing Brazil in consistently, and I understand that they're wanting to. I understand the idea behind that. Like you mentioned, there's massive revenue possibilities.
Yeah.
Even a Brazil versus Haiti match or a Cuba match would bring in a full stadium at the Rose Bowl.
Well, if they want to go totally crazy with this, they can go back to the really, 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 really old Gold Cup setup where they brought in anybody they wanted. And that was really ridiculous. I'm sure, when you have teams like Germany coming over to play in it, that makes it interesting for people and it brings in bigger bucks. But it just kind of takes, as I said, the life out of being CONCACAF champion when you have to come in second place to Brazil in the final of the Gold Cup.
And I think it kind of downplays our federation's main cup. I agree. You're bringing in somebody, a bigger team, to really bring in the revenue or bring in a little more popularity to it. Whereas, with Copa, it's understandable why they invite two people because they only have 10 teams in their entire group.
And there's no chance Mexico, the United States. Well, that's not true. Mexico has been pretty competitive over the years, exactly. But I don't think they have any worry that Mexico's going to win, or else they
won't matter regardless.
Yeah, at least not now.
Again, that's the point though, is that they invite the two teams so that they have even groups to progress through to the finals. Mm-hmm. Whereas CONCACAF has plenty of teams to select from, and there's no reason to invite an exterior team, a team that's not within the group, because all it's going to do is say if we bring in Brazil, in my opinion, I think it's really going to be cheapening the Gold Cup. It's really going to be saying, there's no real prestige in this at all.
Yeah,
we got to bring in the Harlem Globetrotters to make this
right
feasible. So.
Well, we must have had them shaking in their shoes back in '98 when we made that run. That was a lot of fun to watch, by the way. Well, later because you couldn't really watch it live, as far as I remember. All right, well, let's move on to this completely stupid article by the Mirror. It's so stupid I can't even get upset about it. The headline, which, this is why they do this in Britain. The Mirror is one of many horrible pieces of garbage called a newspaper in England. And unlike some of the standards we have here, their papers, their normal papers, are more like our what are
tabloids?
Yeah, our tabloids. So all of their newspapers.
Two heads.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and here you have the headline: Klinsmann lined up as heir to Ari's throne, Ari Redknapp. So, and then it starts off the article: Jurgen Klinsmann wants to succeed Ari Redknapp at Tottenham. He does? I haven't heard anything about this.
They didn't even list any quotes.
No, of course they didn't, because they don't have any quotes. They just made it up. And this is just one of these things that I really wish, and our friend, Simon Allen, who's been on the show, he's from from across the pond, and he enjoys reading this crap. To me, it just frustrates me because, I clicked on that headline thinking, oh, there's something to read here.
Oh, no.
There's absolutely nothing to read. And exactly. If Klinsmann made a move like that, there'd be first of all a lot of pissed off people here.
Oh, yeah.
Second, I've never heard Klinsmann say anything great about living in England. He doesn't want to live in England. In fact, he loves living in the United States, and he even refused to move to Germany when he was the manager of the German national team. Now you think he's going to move to England to manage Tottenham, a team he played for, just kind of in a span of his career. It was very brief. I don't think that's happening. Anyhow, jackasses.
No, like you said, this article is a load of crap.
Yeah.
In all honesty, sometime in his career, he may opt to move abroad. He may opt to go to England and take this spot sometime in his lifetime. But he's going to fulfill his contract. And in all honesty, he's probably going to stick with the U.S. as far as his job opportunities are concerned, whether that's continuing at some level in the USSF or if he's going to just continue developing youth talent at a local level. But, in the U.S., there's less pressure. There's less, or the less pressure results from fans and media. He doesn't have to worry about the ins and outs, although we are improving upon that.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
It's not as thick as you're going to find it in Europe and in Germany or in England. So I think he's comfortable where he's at. He's making some solid money here as a manager of the USSF or U.S. men's national team, and I don't see him going anywhere. And this is just an article. It's just a headline, really, to I guess you could say sell papers, if you will, if they're still selling the papers.
Yep. Yep.
It's just something to catch a reader's eye. Like, oh God, what is this? I need to read that.
Well, they got me too, and the guy's name that wrote it was Steve Stammers, which sounds like a cartoon name. Like he's got an affliction of some sort, and he has a hard time talking, and he obviously has a hard time writing as well, because I know 12-year-olds who could write the article that he wrote for the Mirror.